Hey, Chronicle Nation, welcome back. I have a confession for you guys, and I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but I'm struggling right now in this time. Struggling in many ways. You know, I feel angsty about my faith and how it's represented in the world. I'm struggling with the pandemic. I'm struggling with the racial unrest. I'm struggling with the church and its place and all of this. I struggle with so many things because I'm not in a particular camp. I'm not in the Democratic camp or the Republican camp or in the black camp or the white camp or in the cop camp or in the protester camp. I'm in the camp of Jesus Christ. There's one thing I've learned about God. It's one thing I learned about God and seeing the life of Jesus. Is that he was an equal opportunity offender. He had something for everyone. Nobody escaped. We all have work to do and work that we can do. And so I'm struggling right now because in many ways, and I don't know about you, I feel alone with this kind of mindset because it's like I can resonate with this piece of that, but I can't get with the whole, and I can resonate with this piece of that, but I can't get with the whole, and I can resonate with the piece of that, but I can't get with the whole. And it's like, so I see all of these things and I can embrace pieces of them, but not the whole of them. And the only thing that the whole of me can embrace is my faith in God. And so that makes me feel lonely because I'm not with this group or that group or that group or that group or those people or those people or those people. I'm not with any of them exclusively. I see a bit of me in all of them. And I see a lot of in them that I struggle with or that I don't care for. And so it made me go to the Word of God because really that's all I have. And I just wanted to share this quick little message with you. I would encourage you to read John 8, starting at verse 31. It is a really powerful, and yet at the same time it's sad because Jesus is having this dialogue with this group of Jews. And some of them, the Bible said, believed on him. And Jesus said, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free, and blah, 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 blah. Some didn't believe on him, and I talked about this in my message of Killer Truth. And I want to pick up at verse 48 because I find it telling. And what you have to understand is that these people are talking to God. Whether they know it or not, whether they understand it or not, they're talking to God. And I'm just trying to tell you, something should have let them know that they were talking to God. There was something different about Jesus. I never forget when I first became a Christian. And I was working at a grocery store. I was living in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was working in a grocery store and I was helping some old lady of another culture load her groceries in her car. And she looked at me as she gave me a tip. I don't know what she gave me. She says, "There's just something so different about you, young man." She was telling me that the difference in me wasn't my skin or how tall I was or that I was classically handsome. She was telling me that the God in me was showing. What I don't understand about these scriptures is that these people didn't recognize God, that the God in God was showing. It tells you how deep hatred and evil can resonate in people to where they didn't even see that God was right in front of them. And in that thrust in that conversation, the intensity and the animosity between these group of people who are fighting Jesus. And Jesus, I want to bring you into this conversation, started at verse 48. And I started actually at verse 47. This is Jesus speaking. Whoever belongs to God, Jesus said, hears what God says. The reason you do not hear is that you do not belong to God. Now hear that. This is Jesus telling them, Whoever belongs to God hears what God says in verse 48. John chapter 8, verse 47. Whoever belongs to God hears what God says. The reason you do not hear is that you do not belong to God. And in verse 48, this is the Jews, this group of Jews, this is their response to him. The Jews answered him and said, aren't we right in saying that you are Samaritan and demon-possessed? And Jesus in verse 49 said, I'm not possessed by a demon, but I honor my Father and you dishonor me. I'm not seeking to glorify myself, but there's one who seeks it, and he is the judge. Very truly I tell you, whoever obeys my word will never see death. To Jesus' message of truth, to God being God, who was clearly good and loving in God, they said to him, you racist, you hate us. I make that statement because everybody knows, all of you Bible scholars knows, there was animosity between the Jews and the Samaritans. It was akin to the racial animus that's been in America for years. And to Jesus saying, whosoever belongs to God, here's God, they says, aren't we right? You are Samaritan. You gotta hate us. You have to hate us. And you're demon-possessed. They called them names. And you know why? Because they didn't want to hear the message of truth. And I share that with you because in this world today, I see many people that don't want to hear the message of truth. They would rather name call. They would rather call you racist or hateful or evil when they don't want to hear the message of truth. It's why I can't align myself with one particular camp. Because the only camp I'm aligned with, the only thing that gets 100% of me, the only thing that I swear allegiance to in all of my life is my faith in God. Because see, he rises above race, culture, creed, party, gender, sexual orientation, and everything else. He stands above it all. And that's what we need in this moment, is something, God, that stands above the fray. And I hope that you are like the group of people who accepted him and the truth made you free. And that you're not like these people here, that upon hearing the truth, they called him names, they ridiculed him, and let me tell you something, they eventually killed him. God bless you, Chronicles Nation.